Hello students, this is Rohit Prajapat, biology faculty. See, we all had one kind of question always in our mind, that who are we and from where we have come, and what is this life, what is this earth, and after that earth what is there, does life exist after earth also or not. So these all questions always ponder over in my head. I think in your head also these will definitely challenge you, that why don't you go and find the answer and all, right? So let us try to understand what exactly is the process through which we have come, and what was the process which has formed this earth, sun, stars and everything. So to understand, we have to see the origin of universe. All the way we have to go long back, approximately 20 billion years ago. 20 billion years, can you imagine how old our universe is? So let us start the entire journey and we will go through all the way. Universe. Can you define what is universe? The vast surrounding space which has all the heavenly bodies is called as universe. Vast surrounding space, vast word you have to use, because it's not a very small thing, or earth or the sun. There are thousands and billions of suns are present in that universe. So you can imagine how much bigger universe that could be, right? So the vast surrounding space which contains all the heavenly bodies is called as universe. Alright, and universe was originated approximately 20 billion years ago. 20 billion years ago. But after that, what happened? Let us see what theory actually tells us about the origin of universe. There were so many ancient theories which were telling about the origin of universe, but only one is accepted, which is scientifically proven also. The theory which is called as the Big Bang theory. The Big Bang theory. This Big Bang theory was given in 1931 by scientist Abbe Lemaitre. Abbe Lemaitre. So Abbe Lemaitre has given this theory, and he explained the origin of universe. He said that in the beginning there was nothing. There was a complete singularity. What was there in the beginning? In beginning there was a complete singularity. It was like this one dot. Imagine that this was the huge space, but all the mass was condensed to one single particle, entire mass. This was called a singularity. And it, because of the very high density, it could not handle that much of pressure, and it started exploding. And like this, it started exploding. When it started exploding, the explosion was a very fiery explosion. Fiery explosion means with fire and heat and temperature, all the particles would expand to their fullest. Such type of explosion, in Hindi we call it dhamaka, right? So that type of explosion was there, and that explosion was called as Big Bang. And because of this explosion, all these particles and heavenly bodies started separating from each other. They started expanding, going far away from each other, and then led to the formation of different heavenly bodies in the universe. One of the heavenly body in the universe was our sun. So imagine here, now it is our sun. And there were so many heavenly bodies rotating around that. One of them was Earth. One of them was Earth. We know there are 8 planets now in our solar system. Okay, so all these Earth and the Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, they all are formed at that time. And the process of formation of this Earth was also not a very fast process. It took billions of years. The Earth is actually thought to be originated approximately 4.6 billion years ago. 4.6 billion years ago, the origin of Earth took place. Means our solar system is 4.6 billion years old. And after this 4.6 billion years, so many processes started taking place, which led to the formation of the earth which we live in today. So it was a very different earth at that time. We will see about the prebiotic atmosphere after some time when we will discuss about the theory of origin of life. This was the origin of universe. There are so many other theories also. This was actually the origin of universe and how the earth was formed. But another question which always challenges our mind, that what exactly is a life and how the life was originated. Many times when we ask our parents, we get an answer that God made us, God made this life and all. But still, if God made, then why the God is hiding, right? So I'm not challenging or I'm not questioning anyone's belief, but all I want to say that there should be some explanation, right? So that explanation comes from different types of theories. There are so many theories given for the origin of life also. Let us discuss some of the theories for origin of life. The first theory for origin of life was given as a theory of spatial creation. The theory of spatial creation. This theory was given by Father Suarez. Father Suarez. Father Suarez told that in the beginning there was nothing and there was some supernatural power. That supernatural power made or created the life on earth. That supernatural power created one man, which is called as Adam, and a woman, which is called as Eve. So Adam and Eve were formed or were created by that supernatural power, which is what he called as a God, right? In our Hindu mythology also, it is told that the world was, or this entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, and he created the first man as Manu and first women as Shraddha. But all these theories do not have any scientific evidence, and because of this lack of scientific evidences, this theory is not accepted. The second theory for the origin of life on earth was explained as a theory of spontaneous creation. Spontaneous creation. This theory explains, it is also actually also called as theory of abiogenesis or autogenesis. Abiogenesis. You can make out from the word also that what they are trying to say. They are saying that the life originated from non-living matter. Suddenly, the life originated from non-living matter. Then how is that possible? You can just think how the life can originate from non-living matter suddenly, spontaneously. Okay, so this theory was actually disproved by Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur disproved this theory with the swan neck experiment. What happened in the swan neck experiment? Let us understand in the swan neck experiment what he did. Actually, he boiled one broth. Broth is actually the food for the maggots or so many other bacteria or small worms can grow in that. Okay, so that is a broth. Broth is a liquid food, you can understand. He boiled one broth. Broth contains meat and the liquid particles, right? So when he boiled, he poured this broth into a flask which has a neck like a curved neck, okay, like this, a swan neck. It is, he called this neck as a swan neck, alright, and he kept it open for weeks. There was no growth of bacteria or there was no growth of maggot in that, alright, so no growth. Once he broke that neck and kept it open in the air, there was a growth of maggot. So the maggots were growing in that. He told, when I kept this broth in a swan neck, then if you say that the life originates from non-living matter, why life did not originate in this? Why the life originated only when it was directly exposed with air? Then he told that the spores of life are not just they come out of nothing, they are present in this air. And because when I opened this, the air entered into this, and that led to the growth of those maggots. That means life is already present in air that grows in the flask. Once when this flask was having swan neck, the air was entering, but it was being filtered because of the curved neck, and that is why the life did not originated only out of nothing. So that was this experiment which was disproving the second theory of spontaneous generation. The third theory was called as the theory of panspermia. Panspermia or cosmozoic theory. The theory of panspermia or cosmozoic theory. This theory tells that the life did not originate on earth at all. Life was coming, or life came from somewhere else, from outer part of the space. The spores of those life actually were called as life spores or panspermia, and those spores, when they found favorable environment on earth, reproduced or germinated in the form of different types of life. But this actually is because they are called as cosmos and cosmozoic spores. They came from outer space. We cannot just accept this theory, because when any spore or life spore comes from outside space also, it will not be able to survive in the extreme environment at the time when the earth was exposed directly from ultraviolet radiations and very high temperature and all. So all I wanted to say that this is a very good theory to listen, that life came from outer space, but still it is not properly proved or accepted scientifically. The fourth theory and the most important theory, which is called as theory of chemical evolution, which was given by A.I. Oparin, that we are going to discuss in our next lecture. In our previous lecture, we have seen the theories which were given by earlier scientists and which were not accepted because of the lack of scientific evidences. Now the theory of origin of life that we are going to discuss has all the scientific evidences that we need and is the most widely accepted theory for origin of life on earth. This theory was given by two scientists, A.I. Oparin and J.B.S. Haldane. A.I. Oparin and J.B.S. Haldane, they have given this theory of chemical evolution. Chemical evolution of life. This theory also tells that life originated from non-living material, but how they have proved, that is more important, right? So what this theory suggests is that in the beginning there were certain atoms present. The first phase of this theory, they explained, that was atomic phase. The first was atomic phase. Atomic phase in which there were certain atoms present. Okay, they were not molecules. There were hydrogen atom, there was oxygen atom, there was carbon atom, nitrogen atom, and sulfur and phosphorus. These atoms were present in the beginning, and then later on, because of the high temperature, because of the very large number of ultraviolet rays and all these other factors, these atoms combine to form molecules. So the second phase was molecular phase. Obviously hydrogen would combine to form hydrogen atom, but oxygen would not combine to form oxygen molecule. At the same time, hydrogen combines with oxygen to form all the water. So there was no oxygen, free oxygen molecule available at that time, right? All water formation took place. Then carbon can combine with hydrogen to form methane, nitrogen can combine hydrogen to form ammonia. Probably the water and ammonia are the oldest molecule on this earth. The water that we see today is 4.5 billion years older, you can see. And apart from that, there were some carbon combined with oxygen to form carbon dioxide also. Because of no availability of oxygen, the atmosphere of the earth was reducing. Reducing atmosphere, very high temperature, approximately 800 degrees centigrade temperature, along with ultraviolet radiation, led to the formation of simple organic molecules. These are inorganic molecules. Now let us see the formation of simple organic molecule. That is the third step. Simple organic molecule. These simple organic molecules were like methane, reacted with carbon dioxide, water. It could form, when methane reacts with carbon dioxide and water, at that time, not now, would form sugar. It can form sugar. It can form fatty acid also. It can form glycerol also. Right? That is the first type of organic compound. Then there are other possibility that methane react with hydrogen cyanide, HCN, along with the ammonia, along with CO2, can lead to the formation of purines and pyrimidines. Right? There is possibility that this CH4 methane reacts with ammonia plus carbon dioxide plus water, may lead to the formation of amino acids also. So that was the third phase of formation of simple organic molecules. And definitely the fourth phase will be complex organic molecule formation. And these complex organic molecule came from this simple organic molecule only. Fatty acid and glycerol led to the formation of lipids. Sugars, monomers led to the formation of polysaccharides. Amino acid led to the formation of proteins. Purines, pyrimidines led to the formation of what? Nucleic acid. Nucleic acid. That was the complex organic substance molecule forming cells. At that time, these all molecules were present in water only. So the earth was completely covered by UV radiations and clouds and vapors, gases, because temperature was very, very high. And because and after that, when the temperature went down and down and down, the entire water vapors started becoming water and filled all the spaces of the earth that are now called as oceans and all, right? But at that time, those were the oceans containing large number of organic molecules, and those large number of organic molecules containing oceans were called as hot dilute soup. Hot dilute soup or prebiotic soup. Prebiotic soup. This hot dilute soup and prebiotic soup was containing lot of different molecules, and now they were having the capability to react with each other, to interact with each other. Then came the phase of protocell. Protocell phase. This protocell phase was the arrangement of this molecule in such a way they could interact with environment, as well as they could keep the entire internal environment different from the surrounding. For example, all these lipid molecules would arrange themselves in such a way that there are certain other molecules present inside, and apart from that they were able to exchange the material from outside also. These type of structures were considered as coacervates. And if they were able to copy themselves, the most amazing, extraordinary thing that happened after coacervate was making the copy of themselves, or by process of budding and all. Definitely those were called as microsphere. Coacervates and microspheres are already synthesized in laboratory also, and they have been proved to evolve as at that time. At that time we can see that yes, these type of structures can be evolved or can be formed in that kind of environment when the temperature is very high. when the UV spark and all light is also happening and the molecules are present in their atomic phase. After that, this coacervates and microsphere evolved into the prokaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell led to the evolution of eukaryotic cell, and from here we will be seeing the biological evolution of life. Chemical evolution of life explained these 5 major phases that led to the formation of a prokaryotic cell. First phase was atomic phase, second molecular phase, third simple organic molecular phase, fourth was complex organic molecular phase, and the fifth as a proto cell formation, which is coacervates and microsphere. The term coacervate was given by Oparin himself, and the microsphere term was given by Sidney Fox. You should remember, if for your competitive exam also it will be useful, but in exam if somebody asks about the chemical evolution of life, you can write this entire theory for AI Oparin. Let us see an experimental proof of this theory, whether these molecules, purine, pyrimidines and amino acids can be formed in such type of environment or not, which was the experiment done by Miller and Urey. Hello students, in our previous lecture we have seen the theory of chemical evolution given by AI Oparin and JBS Helden. In that theory, there was one stage where the molecules were formed, and those inorganic, simple inorganic molecule led to the formation of simple organic molecules like amino acids, right? So the proof of that stage was given by some other scientists, Miller and Urey. Miller and Urey performed one experiment which was called as spark discharge experiment, and with the help of this experiment they were able to prove that yes, if you can give such type of conditions like very high temperature, ultraviolet kind of radiations, and water and other types of gases are there, they could ultimately end up in the forming amino acid like small simple amino acid like chemical molecules, right? So let us see in this experiment what they have done. In this experiment, if you would see, it's a closed vessel, it's a closed glass vessel, only one opening is there, which is a condenser here, the condenser that allows them to the you know what we can say actually is that decreasing the temperature. Because of the condenser, the temperature can get decreased. So what is happening in this, the water is circulating, because here the water is boiling, so here you will get the water in the form of vapors. So there are 4 molecules present in this chamber. This chamber is called as spark chamber. In this spark chamber there are electrodes present which are continuously giving sparks of very high voltage. Along with this, the temperature of this spark chamber is approximately 800 degrees centigrade. 800 degrees centigrade is a very huge temperature. That was the temperature of our primitive earth or prebiotic earth at the time of origin of life. At the time of origin of life, there were these 4 molecules present: methane, ammonia, hydrogen and water. So methane, ammonia and hydrogen was taken in the ratio of 2:2:1. Sorry, 2:2:1. In this experiment they have taken this methane, ammonia and hydrogen along with the water, and when this was circulated for weeks, ultimately they saw that in condenser they have seen some organic molecules like simple amino acid, the simple amino acid like glycine, alanine and other type of simple amino acid. With the help of this experiment they were able to prove that yes, whatever Oparin and Helden were saying about the chemical evolution of life, that at that temperature, at very high temperature, at very high ultraviolet radiation, these molecules could ultimately end up in forming organic molecules, was right. And this is how the entire theory of AI Oparin and JBS Helden was proved right.